Good morning, students. It's me, Miss Tanya, and today we are back with another lesson. As you all know that we have completed historical background in the previous lecture, so today I am taking a start with the geography section. And the topic which I have selected for today is resources of Pakistan. In this topic, we are going to discuss about multiple resources of Pakistan and the division of resources of Pakistan. But before moving forward, hurry up, grab your notebook along with pencil and pen and start noting the important pointers. And yes, you're already familiar with the important instructions. And we will do this topic in detail because there were multiple questions which were included in your past papers. Now, coming to the diagram which is given on the right side, you can see there are so many resources which are given over here. Now, in another slides, we are going to study about their divisions, and we are going to study in detail about that what significance they're having in them. Before moving forward, let's just take a start with the definition of energy. Energy is the amount of force or power when applied, can move one object from one place to another, position to another. Energy defines the capacity of system to do work. Energy exists in everybody, whether they are animals, humans, or non-living things. For example, jet, light, machine, etc. Energy is intimately related to power. See, why we are doing the definition of energy, because it is interconnected with energy resources which we are going to study. Energy is basically the force which you are applying onto something. For example, if there is a USB in my hand, or if there is a heavy box and I have to drag it somewhere, so I am putting my efforts forward, I am putting my force to just drag it from one place to another. You can see an illustration which is given on the right side. The person who is jumping, the person is utilizing the amount of force to jump and to go upwards. You can see the moving object, that how the frog is playing with the ball. So the force is applied over here as well. Now coming towards renewable energy resources. It is energy which is generated from natural sources, for example, sun, wind, rain, tides, and can be generated again and again as and when required. They're available in plenty, and by far most of the cleanest source of energy is available on this planet. Renewable technologies are suited to large scale production and small off grid applications. Well, energy resources are actually those resources which can be, you can say that they're available in plenty and you can utilize them again and again. So these all are energy resources. Now there is a description, the illustration which is given on the right side. These all are energy resources: solar energy, biomass energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, and hydropower energy. These all are actually the energies which can be reused again and again. Now, there is another picture which is given over here, a clearer picture to give you a clear view about that what exactly are renewable energy resources. Now, coming towards the non-renewable energy resources, a non-renewable resources is a natural resource that cannot be remade or regrown. Non-renewable energy resources are those resources which you cannot grow for one more time, and they cannot be remade for one more time at a scale comparable to its consumption. It depends on how much you're consuming, but yes, you cannot remake it and you cannot regrow it. On the right side, there are examples of non-renewable energy resources which are given. That is coal, natural gas, nuclear power, and fossil fuels. Now, the main forms of non-renewable energy: nuclear energy, coal, petroleum, and natural gas and fossil fuels. These all are the forms or the types of non-renewable energy resources. Now, starting with the fossil fuels, they provide around 66% of the world's electrical power and 95% of the world's total energy demand. It means that how much the country is demanding, they do fulfill those requirements of the people, and 66% they are giving energy, electrical power to the world. Natural sources such as coal, petroleum, oil are called fossil fuels, or in other terms, you can say that non-renewable energy resources. At the first stance, you can say that natural resources are the coal, the types of natural resources, that is coal, petroleum, oil. They are known as fossil fuels. On another terms, you can say that they are the non-renewable resources. Why we are using the word natural? Natural means the thing which is made by God and it cannot be remade for one more time. They have been formed from the fossilized remains of phosphoric plants and animals. Natural gas take thousands of years to form naturally and cannot be replaced as fast as they're being consumed. Extraction of fuels is by mining, drilling, and quarrying. Now, when we talk about fossil fuels, as I've mentioned before about it, it cannot be remade. You cannot, if you're utilizing the energy resource, then you should keep in mind it will take thousands of years, you know, to just thousands of years to naturally be replaced by something. So it requires that much times. And fossil fuels are made from the remains of phosphoric plants and animals. That means the waste of the animals and phosphoric plants. Okay. Now, the advantages of using fossil fuels, very large amount of electricity can be generated in one place using coal fairly cheaply. You can utilize it, the large amount of electricity by generating coals, and that would be a very cheap material. It means that won't be that much expensive. Number two, transporting oil and gas to the power stations is easy. This is how you can transport and it will make your work easy. Gas fired power stations are very efficient. It means easy to use. A fossil fuel power stations can be built and almost anywhere you can build them. Now, talking about the disadvantages of using fossil fuels, basically, the main drawback of fossil fuels is pollution. Burning any fossil fuel produces carbon dioxide, which contributes to the greenhouse effect, warming the earth. Burning coal produces sulfur dioxide, a gas that contributes to acid rain. With the United States importing 55% of its oil spills are a serious problem. Mining coal can be difficult and dangerous. Strip mining destroys large area of landscapes. Now, discussing about the drawbacks of it, see, whenever you are using fossil fuels, it means that you are using carbon dioxide. It is actually, sorry, you're not using carbon dioxide, it is burning carbon dioxide. It is affecting the greenhouse, it is affecting the ozone layer of the earth, because burning coal, it produces sulfur dioxide. It is the gas which contribute to acid rain. And with the research of United States, it is importing 55% of oil spills, and that is a very serious problem, because obviously if oil is imported from one shipment to another, so definitely if the oil is spilling around into the sea, then it is also affecting the marine life. Some power stations are built on the coast so they can use seawater to cool the steam instead. However, this warms the sea and can affect the environment, although the fish seems to like it. Now, coming towards the next one, that is natural gas. Natural gas is an important fuel found in oil bearing rocks above the oil. These rocks have millions of tiny holes. They act like a sponge and soak up the gas as it is formed. Natural gas was found in 1952 at Sui Balochistan by Pakistan Petroleum Limited while drilling in search of oil. This gas field is considered to be one of the largest in the world. Soon after this discovery, a pipeline to Karachi was completed to provide cheap fuel. Another pipeline to Multan, Lahore, and Faisalabad was also completed in 1960s. And then there was a power plant which was built in Punjab and Sindh as well. So this is exactly that where the gas is situated in Karachi. Now, when we are discussing about all of those factors, so natural gas is used for transportation, it is used for domestic purpose as well, and for industrial purpose as well. When I talk about modes of extraction, then through drilling and pumping, you're getting the natural gas. The types are CNG and LPG, which is easily available wherever you live, but not in rural areas, but in urban areas. The location we have already discussed in the previous slide, and then the modes of transportation, that is pipeline, cylinders, comparison of cylinders with pipelines. Now, coming to the advantages of natural gas, it is a good fuel that is used to sell up the gas turbines. Natural gas is also a renewable hydrocarbon used as a source of energy. Natural gas provides around 20% of the world's consumption of energy, and it is also used for heating purpose. Now, it is also used for generating electricity. It is also used as a fossil fuel, and it is also used for chemical feedstock in the manufacture of plastic and other commercially important organic chemicals, and transporting gas to the power stations is easy as well. Fired power stations are very efficient, low land use, easily transported by pipelines, lower CO2 emissions than other fossil fuels, less air pollution than other fossil fuels, moderate environment impact, low cost with huge subsides, reliable supply, and easy to be stored. Now, coming towards the disadvantages, you can see over here it releases CO2 when burned, methane, a greenhouse gas, can leak from pipelines, it is shipped across oceans as highly explosive LNG. Sometimes it can burn off and wasted as well because of low price. It is highly polluting, available only in few places. It is high running cost, and it is also having the limited supply. Now coming to the natural crude oil, so you can see all of those things. The types are crude oil, is the refined oil which is transported into multiple locations. The extractions are from dripping, drilling, and pumping. The sources are that you're using it for thermal energy, for heating purpose, for lubricant of machines as well, and as an indispensable motor fuel, petrol for cars and aircraft, diesels for buses, rail engines, and trucks as well. Now the refineries are that at Potowar, it is built up over there, and the lower Sindh, you can see that on all of these places they are situated, and on the Potowar plateau side, it is situated on all of these places. The modes of transportation, tanker, ship, and tanker ships and pipelines, they're used over there, and uses as a product is that you're using as a detergent, synthetic rubber, insecticides, and so on. All right. So here we have already discussed about the natural gas. Okay. Now coming towards the next one, that is introduction of petroleum. Oil petroleum is basically the most important fossil fuel these days. It occurs in porous space of grainy rocks and is derived mainly from decomposition of marine animals and vegetative matter. Crude oil cannot be used in its raw state. You cannot use this as it is into the state, and it has also been processed and refined into useful products such as petrol for vehicles. In Pakistan, oil refineries are located in Karachi and Potowar region, National Oil Refinery Karachi, Attic Oil Refinery at the other side as well. Now, the importance of petroleum, which you can see over here, is crude oil is also known as petroleum, is easy to get out of the ground than coal as it can flow along pipes. It is cheaper to be transported from one place to another. It provides 40% of energy. Transporting is easy from one place to another. It is also known as black gold. This MCQ was included in the past papers as well. Transporting fuels to the power station is easy. Road oil and feedstock for making the chemicals, plastic, and synthetic materials are nearly in everything we use. Fuel oil is used for heating purpose as well. Now let's start with the introduction of coals. But before starting with the introduction of coals, I am just pausing stopping the video over here. You can see the next part into the next slide. So let's just go there and study about the remaining part.